Hi, nice human. I'm the Tropa guy, and today we are going to see what the different liquid rocket fuels are, why those specific fuels are used, and what is good or bad for each of them. I will not dive into solid rocket propellants, as I think they need their own video. I'll start with hypergolic fuels, as they are the most exotic ones. A hypergolic propellant is simply a combination of a fuel and an oxidizer that spontaneously ignite when they come into contact with each other. They are found in rockets today as dinitrogen tetroxide plus hydrazine or monomethylhydrazine or unsymmetrical dimethylhydrazine. I'm sorry for my mispronunciation. They offer the big advantage of being easy to ignite, and engines that use this kind of fuel don't require an ignition system to fire up, but they are extremely toxic. So today hydrolox, kerolox or metalox are more widely used. I'll come back to them in a bit. Hypergolic fuels are also liquid at ordinary pressures and temperatures, so they are suitable for missions lasting many years, as they don't require cryogenic temperatures or highly insulated fuel tanks. These kinds of propellants were used in ULA's Delta II rockets and are still used today by ESA's current Ariane 5, and also it will be used by their future Ariane 6 rockets. Other than their high toxicity, they have the disadvantage of being less energetic than cryogenic propellants, so a rocket that uses hypergolic fuel must carry a greater mass of fuel compared to a cryogenic fuel one. But they are not the most used fuel in recent times. During the 1950s, in the US, the chemical industry was assigned the task of formulating a better petroleum-based propellant that would leave no residue and would ensure that the engine stays relatively cool. The result was RP1, which stands for Rocket Fuel 1. It is basically a more refined jet fuel, which is in turn a more refined kerosene. It is used as fuel with liquid oxygen as oxidizer. This mix is called kerolox. It has a really high density for a fuel, which means that it is more powerful of other less dense rocket fuels by volume. It is also stable at room temperature and generally cheaper than other rocket fuels, and way less toxic than hypergolic fuels. Today it has lost the title for the most used rocket fuel in favor of liquid hydrogen or hydrolox. Even though it is less powerful by volume compared to RP1, it generates a higher specific impulse. And if you have never heard of this term before, basically it is a measure of how effectively a rocket is able to use its propellant and has seconds as units. You can see it as for how many seconds a certain amount of fuel will generate thrust. Liquid hydrogen needs temperatures extremely low to stay liquid, so rockets that use this fuel needs extensive insulation around the fuel tanks. But engines run cleaner, as the exhaust is virtually composed only of water vapor, and exhaust temperatures are lower than RP1. And now, as the last but not least of liquid rocket fuels, we have liquid methane or metalox. It isn't as dense as RP1, but it is way denser than liquid hydrogen, which means that by volume it has more power. It has the advantage over RP1 rockets of depositing less carbon on the internal parts of the rocket, reducing the difficulty of reuse of boosters. Like liquid hydrogen, it needs to be cooled, but can stay liquid at a higher temperature compared to hydrogen. It sits in the middle ground between the past two rocket fuels, also by its specific impulse and combustion temperatures. So you can see why it is the fuel of choice for both SpaceX's new Raptor engine and Blue Origin's BE-4 engine. It is neither the best or worst in all parameters, which means that they can build a better engine and rocket overall. And this is what I found about liquid rocket fuels, without getting inside math or scientific formulas and terms. If you like this video, please show me some love. I'm new on YouTube in the space community, and every like is really appreciated. Also, if you love space as I do, consider subscribing to this channel, as I'll upload pretty much daily about the latest news about space and cool space stuff like what you just saw. Until next time, I'm the Europa guy, and maybe one day I'll see you on Europa.